begin with your testimony.
Hello, my name is Paul Campion, Paulcampion, and I serve as co-president of the Student Environmental Alliance at Loyola University Chicago, where I am an undergraduate student. Thank you for the opportunity to testify today. Air pollution and climate disruption disproportionately impact youth and environmental justice communities. I'm here today to ensure that students of all ages have clean air to breathe in a safe climate. I and fellow students envision a fossil-free world that values our health and well-being instead of short-term, resource-depleting industries. Personally, I want to work in the clean energy sector, enabling people to connect with each other and share energy through community solar. I envision a world in which students on Chicago's southeast side play outside without developing asthma. I envision a world in which I do not have to fear that intensified hurricanes and the flooding they cause will wreck my childhood home and my parents' lives in Maryland. I envision a world in which low-income and minority communities are prioritized in public and corporate decision-making. The Clean Power Plan works towards this world. The so-called Affordable Clean Energy Rule does not. I feel quite fortunate that I live in Chicago, as this is the only public hearing being held nationwide. However, the cowardly decision to hold only one public hearing intentionally excludes the majority of Americans who will be negatively impacted by ACE. I would like to make two main points about ACE. First, it moves America backwards. Since 2010, 230 coal plants have been retired. At least 40 more coal plants have announced that they will close or reduce capacity by 2025. The markets have spoken. Currently, 80% of coal-fired power plants do not meet current new source review standards. ACE, by revising the NSR standards to utilize the hourly emissions rate instead of net annual emissions, will extend the life of numerous dirty coal plants, which should be retired and replaced with new solar and wind plants. For the past 4 years, 2013 through 2017, over 50% of new utility-scale electricity capacity was wind or solar. The future is renewable, not fossil. Second, it is morally wrong. According to your own analysis, ACE would reduce $6.4 billion in compliance costs for power plants, but result in $16.6 to $75 billion in increased health costs. That is a bad deal. ACE would lead to 1,400 premature deaths, 48,000 new cases of exacerbated asthma, and at least 21,000 new missed days of school every year through 2030. The sheer disregard for people and planet in exchange for relatively meager savings for coal corporations is reprehensible and contrary to the EPA's obligation under the Clean Air Act to protect public health and the environment. During the 2015-2016 election cycle, oil, gas, and coal companies and the industry associations that advocate for them spent $354 million in campaign finance contributions and lobbying expenditures. In return, the federal government hands the fossil fuel industry more than $15 billion each year in subsidies to sustain and expand their operations. This is corruption, plain and simple. As a student and a young person, I cannot stand by and let you further threaten my health, my future, and our world. My generation is electing representatives who refuse to take money from the fossil fuel industry. Over 1,200 candidates and politicians up and down the ballot across this country have signed the No Fossil Fuel Money Pledge. As students, we denounce ACE as a corrupt plan that harms us. We will continue to fight for our health and for our world. Reject ACE and implement the Clean Power Plan. Thank you.
Thank you for your testimony.